So doing that in the public, but in private, you're pushing, praying until something happens. You're nurturing, you're advising, you literally sometimes even becomes a baby.
That's true.
Unalea mtoto,
That's true.
So playing that role again, and not just letting it go like, since it's happened with his sister.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what you're making me think about is the fear thing again.
Back to fear.
Going back to fear.
Yes.
Because there are also times when we are not able to work in the background because you're too scared of what he'll say. And so the man goes out there, makes a fool of himself, and every time, oh my goodness, he's about to do it again,
Yes.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
and you feel thoroughly embarrassed,
Yes.
but you can't say anything about it. I think that fear thing is not good for us,
Yeah, you remind me of this incident with the late Michuki, the cabinet secretary Michuki, when one time the media caught him and he had a hole in his sock.
I remember.
But remember what people said, they said his wife.
Oh,
Yeah. And so that's what happens. When a man makes a fool of himself, especially a married man with a wife, makes a fool of himself in public, people will always say, hey, where was his wife? It will always come back to us, because it's like, if we're not nurturing and advising in that way, and we're literally supposed to be like a mirror,
exactly,
to our husband. And I'm not so sure that women are playing this role anymore.
No.
Yeah.
No, we're not. I think we have to be very deliberate about it.
Yes, totally.
And sometimes we're not deliberate. We need to be deliberate about who we are supposed to be, what our role is, as mothers, as sisters, as as daughters.
Yes, as daughters.
Exactly.
And because we have womanhood encompasses our marriage, our other family relationships, our extended family, our family of origin, and the roles we play in the society. When you're Mama Kanisa or wherever you are, the aunt that people depend on. And so bringing all these roles into,
and we can. You're talking about multitasking.
Right.
We can really do that really well.
And we do.
I'm thinking of how sometimes we have funerals back home.
Yes.
And you're able to organize, I remember
Organize
not too long ago.
Yes.
Well, a bit long ago, 2017, when my father-in-law died.
Right.
And you're busy. You are supposed to be in the service, but you're thinking people need to eat. So you're talking to so and so and saying, make sure these people come in these groups and these groups and these groups. I think when we do that and we enjoy it, because sometimes we do it and we complain.
Yeah.
Just enjoy what, that role that you're playing at that point and do it to the best of your knowledge,
We've talked about the roles again, Julia, and there's this thing about doing something that you're not meant to do. And if we were not meant to be in this role, then God would have created us as men differently. He would have created us as men. But then understanding that we've talked about going back into your childhood, the experiences, they have given us certain giftings. The experiences have given us certain skills and abilities. And going back again to what we talked about, your book in life, there's a certain assignment and a role that you're supposed to accomplish in your life. So you find many women complaining, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that, this has happened, but then the reason why God has allowed you to play that role in your family is because you are the one that has the skills, you are the one that can get that big job for that family, you're the one that can help that man in this way, because he has different giftings. Then God has got his own agenda for him. So understanding, and for me it's been a journey.
But when you're talking about, I'll come back to your journey, but when you're talking about we complain, do you know sometimes we complain braggingly?
Yes.
I am the one, and I'm just thinking, God enables you to do something. God enables you to get somebody a job. That job was there and you were there because God wanted this other person to get it. Or God gives you certain money, because he wants you to help this maybe drug addict to, but then you keep bragging to people, and then I did, I really think that's a bad thing for women to do, that when God allows us to be able to accomplish certain things, they are not to make us feel big, You just happen to have the opportunity, Another person could have had that opportunity, So I think that as women, we really need to be modest,
Modest, but also again, understanding who you are.
Who you are.
Yes.
Who you
understanding
are.
who you are in totality. And I was going to tell you, Julia, that it took me a long time.
I want to hear that journey.
A long time in my journey and in my own marriage to realize that my husband is in ministry, and I have been in and out supporting him in ministry, and many times I wondered, why am I the one that has to be this way? Why am I doing this thing? And the Lord one day he told me, but it's because you are the one that is capable of doing certain things and to lift up this family so that your husband can minister. So that, and the role that I needed to play at this time was to go in, make this money and support the family. And his role at that time was to nurture the men that God has put in his life, because he's a ministry with men, nurturing these men, and he would not have been able to do it if I hadn't played that role. It cost me a lot, Julia, and I questioned the Lord and said, why, it was a big thing for me. Why am I the one that is doing this,
You made me think of, I think the apostles were saying, why Stephen was elected. They were saying, we are too busy now resolving issues for taking food to the tables, to the women, to the widows, that we can't preach. And so if my role is to make the money, so the man preaches, so be it. So be it.
And this is a conflict that I'm seeing in marriages now. If one happens to be a little more endowed, and if the woman happens to be a little more endowed in terms of being able to bring a higher pay package, and the man has a slightly lower or
none at all.
And then it becomes a problem.
But I hope I'm not sounding too harsh. But have you had this stupid thing of his money is our money and my money is mine?
There are limits, of course, because there's some people who will just now become lazy.
It's really bad. Yes, because I feel like when you are together, you support one another.
Right.
There will be a time I may have more money. Yes. There will be a time he will have more money, And even the way our marriage has gone, there were times that I was in the office and worked and had more money.
Yes.
There have come times that he's grown his business so much that he's providing most of the money,
So,
and if we were stuck at who gives and who is doing this, it really, it also, it demeans people.
It demeans people, but I do also understand when people talk about, he's just loafing, he's just living off me.
That's different.
And now that's a man that's not playing his role.
Exactly.
If there's a man that is playing his role in another, other than bringing finances home, if he's playing another role.
That's true. And also the transparency.
Yes. Then I think that the both parties need to sit down and talking about the role of the woman. What will you play and what will I play?
Exactly.
And you find, I was very impressed, Julia, I've been working a lot with Americans, and they come here, and one couple I talked to, both of them are very highly educated. In fact, both of them have PhDs. So in one, they keep getting posted to different countries. So in one country, when she gets the job, she goes to work, and he becomes the house mom. So he's the one that stays at home and looks after the children, does the things at home. So she's the one that works and brings in the money. So then when her contract is over, he looks for a contract in another country, then he gets the contract, and he provides for the home, and she's really so nice. It is an understanding they have. Nice. And in fact, the last station they were in, this couple I was talking to said, okay, now it's my turn. to stay at home, and it's his turn to go to work.
Okay.
And I thought, what? How? Where? And I think that it's a radical thought in our society now. But I think that people.
I know a friend who does that sometimes.
Yeah.
She keeps being posted in different countries.
Yes.
And they have agreed.
Yes.
I think the husband keeps checking on some farming.
Yes.
But they go together.
They go together.
Yeah.
Every couple, every woman should just understand what her context is.
Yes.
And we can't do it because so and so did it like this, and so we do it that way. Sit down with your man and understand what your role in that particular context is.
Yeah, I may sound like I'm being nitty-gritty.
Yes.
But the times when I'm on shopping, you're in a shopping mall, and then this man comes with a trolley, and they're walking, and somehow almost not talking at all. Then they get to the cashier, and the woman stands there paying. It's okay for her to be paying, but the way it's done, it's so demeaning, Sometimes I'm thinking, well, why not give him your card?
Yes,
he could actually have your card and pay.
Yeah.
So sometimes those things may seem small, but I can't imagine how that person walks out of that supermarket.
You mean like the woman is lording it over him, looking like
looking like she's the one holding the she's holding the purse, she's holding, and then they walk, and then they get the everything, and it's almost as if I'm the one who is paying this. I think there's a way in which you can present yourselves, even if you're the one paying. There should be the demeanor.
Yes, I can.
Should be such. Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes we act as if
with the money, and I really I think that's such an ugly thing that makes somebody feel so small. Because life is not about money.
And it's
there
not
are
the
many
same.
other things that
it's not the same. Today you have the money, tomorrow he will have the money.
Exactly.
Life changes, and our roles will change. Today, tomorrow you may lose your job, and then he will be the one with the job and making the money.
Exactly.
So I think just coming to an understanding, and
but it also needs to come from the other side. Sometimes there are times when men have accused women of, just because she gets more money. And she wasn't even feeling that way. She was just thinking, this is our money. And then the person is feeling, she must be feeling proud because she has the money. So I think it's something that really we have to balance. It's just that now we are talking about the women. So we can't talk this.
It has to be a balance. It has to be a balance. Yes.
I want to read a scripture.
Yes.
And of what I think is the real joy of because we're talking about the joy of womanhood. I'm thinking about Proverbs 31.
Yes.
And starting from verse 26.
Okay.
And it says, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. Kindness comes. I think kindness looks so good on women. When you're kind, it looks so good on women. Then it says, she watches over the ways of her household. You know what goes on in your home, and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, he praises her. Many daughters have done well, but you excel them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty is passing, but a woman who fears the Lord shall be praised. I'm thinking to myself, the joy of a woman is being appreciated by your children, by your father, and by your husband, because it's very, how do I call it? Defeating when you feel like your husband does not appreciate you, or he does not think anything of you. You feel like, oh my goodness, so what do I do now? You feel low. So for me, and you may have something to say about it, the joy of womanhood is being able to please your husband, to please your kids, children, and to please your siblings and your parents. Without feeling that you'll be pushed beyond the limits.
And yes, you're right, Julia. It's a difficult role to play. Being able to please all those people.
I know.
It's like you have to be superwoman. Yeah, you have to be superwoman. And some of us can't be superwomen. But you see where it says, verse 30, charm is deceitful and beauty is passing. But a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Because when you know your identity and you know who you are as a child of God,
and then you go back to God.
You go back to God. And then the kind of character that develops from you, there is no other way that people will perceive you except as blessed. And people will begin to praise you. Because you see, it all comes from the inside. The charm is deceitful, but a character, noble character, you know, and the Bible says a good wife you can find, but a woman of noble character. And noble character comes from your identity, knowing who you are in Christ, and playing that role that you are in Christ. So I think that even though it's very difficult to do all this, to be this superwoman, and I know in my own 33-year-old marriage, there are times when I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this anymore, you know. But then coming back to God, and because we always have to come back to God, and that's when God, you lock yourself in the closet and say, why, what, how, and that's when God reveals to you. But the reason why you have been able to do this is because this is how you're gifted, and this is the role that I chose you to play for this family.
And He has a way of coming through it.
Right.
When you trust God, He has a way of coming through you. So as we go to the end, in fact, before we go to the end, before we say the parting shot, it helps to be real. As we trust God, I think what makes women so beautiful is being real. Being themselves. It's being vulnerable. You can be vulnerable at the right time, in the right place, knowing what to say when, you know. I think that's the beauty of being a woman.
Exactly. Because like we talked about it, we begin to perform as we think people want us to be. But then we need to come back and be authentic, be true to ourselves. Who am I? Who am I? And how have I been created? And in the way that I've been created, what is my best value add for who I am? How am I adding value to myself? Because you may be adding value to another personality, you know, that has been created by your peers or by the media. But who am I? Being true to yourself, Julie, I think is very important. You know, and not trying to compare ourselves
with other people.
Just
being the original you.
Just being the original you that God created you. However you are, tall, slim, short, black, dark, you know, big ears or not, small head, no hair, you know, you're just you. And when God created you, in Psalm 139, when even before you were knit in your mother's womb, He says He knows your frame. You know, and for me that really comforts me, because He knows that, you know, I am of a big frame, I'm not super small, you know, and you know, when I was told you're too big, He knew that this is who I was going to be. And it didn't take Him by surprise. So just knowing, having your identity in God. Julie, it all boils down to that.
To that. Really? So we've come to the end. I'm just wondering, what is it that comes to your mind that you think, oh, at least let me say this before we end. What is it that comes to your mind?
I would say identify the lies that you have heard or that have been told to you in your life. What is that lie that is in your mind, in your subconscious mind? And when it sort of came into your life, and then find a truth that counters this lie. What is the lie that you've believed all your life? That's what I would say.
Wow, it was nice meeting with you.
Thank you.
This has been a nice session of Candid Talk. I've been your moderator, Julia Ombasi. It's been nice talking with you, Agiso. Thank you so much for your wisdom. And thank you so much for the experience and world of knowledge that you have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Julia. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.